Chester, look, bro, we are going to react to how the worst school shooter died. Alright, bro, let's get it, bro. Let's watch it.
Virginia Tech. On April 16, 2007, in Blacksburg, Virginia,
Dang,
Virginia
oh
Tech
07's
senior
old.
Sung-Hui Cho walked into Norris Hall carrying 2 pistols and 400 rounds of ammunition, then
Golly.
chained the 3 main entrance doors shut from the inside. Sung-Hui
Look, bro, like you are a goofy behind dude to do this, bro. Like something has to be mentally wrong with you if you got like guns in your backpack and a gun on your hand. Go into a public school and shoot as many kids as possible, bro. You feel me? Like that is so corny, bro. Like never in my whole entire life, bro. I like look. Like if I'm going through some tough times, bro, my mind will never come across this stuff, bro. Like their mentals is.
had been planning
there,
an
bro.
attack for weeks, buying guns after a court declared him
weeks.
mentally ill. And that morning, he mailed a package to NBC News containing photos of himself holding weapons and a manifesto blaming others for his isolation. On the second floor, in room
Bro, got a mental
204,
illness, bro.
76-year-old engineering professor Liviu Librescu was teaching solid mechanics when gunshots erupted in the hallway. Librescu had survived a Nazi labor camp and escaped communist Romania.
That's good, though.
And that morning, by coincidence, was Holocaust Remembrance Day. At 9:40 a.m., Seung-Hui stepped onto the second floor and fired through classroom door windows as he moved down the hallway.
Bro.
Librescu turned toward his door as shots cracked closer and saw that the handle had no lock. He crossed the room and wedged himself into the door
Why don't y'all have locks? Why?
frame, pressing his back against the wood, spreading his feet wide on the tile. He screamed for his students to climb out the windows, and they ran over, twisted them open, and began dropping to the ground below. Some landed in bushes and rolled, others hit concrete. Seung-Hui fired through the door, bullets tearing through the wood and striking Librescu as he held his position. His legs buckled, but he stayed wedged in the doorway as the last students climbed out. Seung-Hui pushed the door open, stepped over Librescu's body, and shot graduate student Manal Pancha,
Dang.
who had refused to leave him, then fired a final shot at the fallen professor. All 23 of Librescu's students escaped through the windows. In room 207, Seung-Hui shot Professor Christopher James
God
Bishop and
dang.
4 students, then left to continue down the hallway. The surviving students immediately barricaded the door with furniture. When Seung-Hui returned minutes later, students Caitlin Carney and Derek Odell
They
threw
died.
their bodies against the barricade as he tried to force the door open. Seung-Hui
died, bro.
fired through the door, hitting Caitlin in the hand, but both students heroically held the barricade. He moved on to room 211, where student Emily Haas had called 911 when the shooting began and stayed on the line while Seung-Hui entered and began firing at students.
Dang.
She was grazed in the head by gunfire, but remained conscious under her desk, whispering information to dispatchers while playing dead. She kept the line open for 8 minutes, while Seung-Hui killed 11 of her classmates around her.
Dang.
11 minutes after the shooting began, police officers cut through the entrance chains and rushed into the building. They found Seung-Hui in room 211, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had killed 32 people that morning, but every
32
student who
kids,
escaped through a
man.
window held a barricade.
Hey man, like rest in peace to all those kids for real, bro. Stuff like this that I'm scared that, like, bro, like we are living in a wicked behind world where dumb people going to do dumb things, and that's going to affect people futures, days. It's just whatever, bro. Like you don't know when your day is going to be last, bro. You feel me? And this is why I pray for my family members to be safe, bro. Because, like, you just don't know what's going to happen. You feel me, bro? So, stuff like this, you just really have to be careful, bro. You feel me? Be careful and play smart, bro. If you see a window, crack that mug and dip. Go as far as you can, bro. Or, like, if you're, like, in the middle of the hallway doing, like, a shootout, bro, like, find like a spot that's like hideable, bro. Like go to that spot and hide as like, just play smart, bro.
Stayed on a phone line survived. Romania posthumously awarded Professor Liviu Librescu the Order of the Star of Romania, the country's highest civilian honor.
Let's
And
go,
Virginia
man.
Tech named the Dr. Liviu Librescu Student Engagement Center, in Norris Hall Room 203, after the professor who gave his life holding a door so his students could escape. Sandy Hook. On
Hey,
December
man,
14th,
God bless
2012,
that
in
man, bro.
Newtown,
Oh, Sandy
Connecticut,
Hook.
20-year-old Adam Lanza shot his mother as she slept, loaded her rifle into his car,
Something is wrong
and
with him,
drove to
bro.
Sandy Hook Elementary
Y'all,
School.
bro, eyes look so creepy, bro. Like you could just tell, like, something is, like, really off of him. Like, look. Like, this is bro's face, bro. Like, bro does not look like human, bro. Bro does not look human. Like, on me. Like, look. Bro does not look human at all, bro. Like something is really wrong. Like, something is really wrong with him, bro. Bro, eyes so wide, he looks crazy in the head, bro. Like, I'm telling y'all.
Adam had been withdrawn from the school years earlier due to mental illness and arrived that morning carrying hundreds of rounds of ammunition. At 9:35 a.m., classroom doors had locked 5 minutes earlier, as they did every morning at 9:30. And in the main office near the front entrance, the intercom was broadcasting morning announcements. Adam fired through the glass entrance outside the office, and the crack of shattering glass echoed through the microphone into every classroom. Principal Dawn Hochsprung and psychologist Mary Sherlock were in the office when they heard the gunshots. They ran into the hallway and found Adam standing inside the shattered entrance.
Why would y'all, like, what? Like, bro, like, if y'all hear gunshots, what do y'all think that, like, being out, he would be...
Holding his rifle. They screamed warnings, and their voices broadcast through the still live intercom to every classroom. Adam shot them both, killing them instantly. But their warning gave teachers seconds to lock doors and hide students. First grade teacher Victoria Soto heard the warning and moved her students into a closet, closing the door. When Adam entered her classroom, Soto stepped in front of the closet and told him the children were in the gym. Adam turned toward the door, but the closet suddenly opened and students ran toward the exit. Soto threw herself between them and Adam's rifle and was shot while shielding them. In the same classroom, special education aide Anne-Marie Murphy wrapped her arms around her assigned student Dylan Hockley, covering his body as Adam fired.
Wow.
Both women were killed, but several students escaped by running past Adam while Soto held his attention.
That's good, man.
Down the hallway, teacher Caitlin Roig heard the warning and rushed her 14 students into the bathroom, pushing a cabinet in front of the door. She had covered her door window with black paper during a drill weeks earlier and never remembered to take...
Just imagine, like, you're in this situation that a school shooter is in there, and, like, man, bro, like, I'm telling you, bro, like, y'all, like, be smart, bro, like, be careful too, bro, like, man, bro, it's scary, bro.
Adam walked past her darkened window, while inside, Roig told her students to stay absolutely quiet and that the good guys were coming to save them. Adam tried door after door, and some opened to screaming while others stayed locked. When police entered the building, they found Adam in an empty classroom, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He killed 20 children and 6 adults before police found him. In February 2013, President Barack Obama awarded Victoria Soto, Dawn Hochsprung, Mary Sherlock, Anne-Marie Murphy, Rachel Davino, and Lauren Rousseau the Presidential Citizens Medal, the nation's second highest civilian honor.
Let's go.
Columbine. On April 20th, 1999, at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, seniors Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold arrived in the student parking lot at 11:10 a.m., pulled 2 20-pound propane bombs from their car trunks, and carried them into the cafeteria, where hundreds of students sat eating lunch. Eric and Dylan had been planning the attack for months after both were arrested for theft and placed in a juvenile diversion program, and that morning, they recorded final videos to their families while expecting to die. They placed the bombs under cafeteria tables.
Like, something really has to be wrong with them, bruh. Like, no way in their minds that they would just think of this and just go to school and do something this retarded. Like, something mentally has to be wrong with them, bruh. Like, something mentally has to be wrong with them. Like, bruh, like, what? what gives you the motivation to do this? Like like stuff like this, you really got to ask yourself, like, what makes them like really do this, y'all? You feel me? Like,
Set
this
the
is
timers
crazy,
for
bro.
11:17 a.m., then walked back to their cars and waited for the explosion that would collapse the cafeteria. The
Insane,
timers
bro.
clicked past 11:17
Even got a
a.m.,
bomb.
then
Like,
11:18,
something wrong with
then
these kids,
11:19. But nothing happened. After 5 minutes, they grabbed rifles from their trunks and walked toward the school's west entrance as students inside continued eating lunch, unaware. At the west entrance, Eric walked up the outdoor stairs where 14-year-old Daniel Rohrbaugh was descending with 2 friends. Eric raised his rifle and opened fire, and all 3 students scattered toward the school entrance. Daniel reached the door first and held it open for classmates trying to escape. Eric shot him in the back, and
Dang.
Daniel collapsed with his hand still gripping the door handle so his friends could escape. In the cafeteria below, teacher Dave Sanders heard gunshots echoing from above, jumped onto a chair, and shouted for students to run. Over 100 students scattered through kitchen
go.
exits, clearing the cafeteria before Eric and
Run,
Dylan
bro.
entered. Dave ran upstairs to warn more students, and Eric and Dylan followed the sound of his footsteps. Eric shot him twice, and Dave collapsed outside Science
Man.
Room 3 as blood pooled from wounds in his back and neck. Teacher Rich Long dragged him into the room, leaving
He's
a
dead,
smear
man.
of blood across the threshold,
He's
while
dead.
students Aaron Hansey and Kevin Starkey pressed their shirts against his wounds. Eric and Dylan moved to the library, where they shot 17-year-old Patrick Ireland twice in the head, paralyzing his left
Golly.
side. At 12:08 p.m., Eric and Dylan returned to the library, sat down surrounded by shell
It's been an
casings,
hour?
and each died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Police heard the shots, but waited outside for nearly 3 hours, fearing the bombs Eric and Dylan had planted might still detonate. By the time SWAT officers entered Science Room 3 at 3 p.m., Dave Sanders had bled to death while Aaron and Kevin
Yeah, bro.
held pressure on his
He's dead,
wounds
man.
for over 3 hours. Hours earlier, Patrick had regained consciousness,
Let's
crawled
go.
across the library floor to a broken window, and tumbled into the arms of SWAT officers positioned below. Eric and Dylan killed 12 students and Dave Sanders that day. Columbine High School renamed its softball field the Dave Sanders Memorial Softball Field in fall 1999, and the school established a scholarship in his name. Daniel Rohrbaugh's
man.
sacrifice is commemorated at the Columbine Memorial, where a memorial stone marks the place where he held the door open for his classmates to escape. Robb Elementary School.
Rest in peace to him.
On May 24th, 2022, in Uvalde, Texas, Salvador Ramos shot his grandmother in the face during an
Oh!
argument, left her bleeding on the floor.
Wait,
took her
ain't this a dude that got like bullied and like he took like some emo shots? Hold up, I know this one, bro. And like the cops didn't really do anything during that moment. Like they was just at the hallway. Rob Elementary School. Yep, this one, bro. Yep, this is it. Yeah. Alright. I would click the images, bro, but like it might show something really nasty, bro. So I wouldn't click there. But this is him. And you can just tell something is really off with him, bro. Bro, his face look crazy. This is sad though, bro. Yep. This one right here, bro. The cops did not do anything, bro. They hadn't done nothing. And this is bro right here with a gun. Man, bro, from 2022, bro. That's crazy. That's like what? Like that's like 4 years ago, right? 4 years
her
ago.
truck and rifle and drove
years
to
ago?
Robb Elementary School,
Nah,
where he
it's
had
like
attended as a
5.
child before dropping
No,
out of
4.
high school after years of isolation and bullying. He spent weeks watching mass shooting videos online. At 11:28 a.m., he crashed into a roadside ditch approaching the school, climbed out holding his rifle, and walked across the parking lot toward the entrance in plain view. Inside room 111, 11 fourth graders were watching a movie when teacher Arnulfo Reyes saw Salvador step through the door holding the rifle. Arnulfo screamed at his students to get under the table and play dead, then ran to stand
Like these are
between them
little
and the
kids,
doorway.
bro. Like
Salvador-
like this is one thing you really have to like think about like these are little kids. These are elementary students. Like, this is sad, bro. And like, what makes me so mad is that the cops didn't even do a thing, bro. Like, they was at the hallway for hours, and the kids was just constantly screaming and getting shot at, bro. Like that's one thing that really makes me mad, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Shot him in the left arm.
These are kids,
the impact
bro.
spinning him to the floor face down. Salvador walked past Arnulfo toward the table where the children were hiding, and Arnulfo heard gunfire. Salvador then walked to where Arnulfo lay motionless and shot him in the back.
Crazy.
Arnulfo remained completely still, playing dead, while listening to Salvador's footsteps move toward the doorway connecting to classroom 112. Next door, teachers Ava Morels and Irma Garcia heard the gunfire and immediately pushed their 22 students against the back wall, but Salvador entered through the connecting door before they could lock it. Both teachers threw themselves over students sitting at desks, and Salvador shot Eva twice in the back and Irma 3 times, both women collapsing onto the children beneath them. 10-year-old Amri Jo Garza grabbed Ava Morella's cell phone, crouched behind a desk, and dialed 911.
Let's go.
But Salvador saw her and shot her in the head while she held the phone to her ear. 4 minutes after entering the building, Salvador walked back to the center of classroom 112 and sat down among the shell casings and bodies scattered across the floor. By then, police officers had gathered in the parking lot and positioned themselves 15 feet from the classroom doors. For 77 minutes, they waited for authorization to breach. Inside, wounded children bled out on classroom floors. At 12:50 p.m., a Border Patrol tactical team breached the doors and shot Salvador multiple times, killing him where he sat. When agents entered classroom 112, they found Irma Garcia's body draped over students, her arms still wrapped around them. Salvador had killed 19 children and teachers, Ava Morel and Irma Garcia, in just 4 minutes of shooting. Ava Morels and Irma Garcia have been widely honored as heroes who gave their lives protecting their students.
That's good, man.
Irma Garcia was named Teacher of the Year at Robb Elementary in 2019, and communities across Texas have held vigils and memorials honoring both teachers' sacrifice. Red Lake.
That's sad.
On March 21st, 2005, in Red Lake, Minnesota, 16-year-old Jeff Wise shot his grandfather, a Red Lake police sergeant, and his grandfather's girlfriend.
Why you gotta keep shooting up? Well, maybe because I don't know.
Then took the police weapons and squad car.
In 05,
Jeff had spent months watching Columbine High School shooting videos online before driving the squad car 2 miles to Red Lake Senior High School. At 2:49 p.m., he rammed the squad car into the school's front entrance. Security guard Derek Brunn sat unarmed at his desk near the metal detector when he saw Jeff climb out holding a shotgun. His fellow guard, Leanne Grant, screamed at him to run, but Derek stood and walked directly toward Jeff to confront him. Jeff raised the shotgun and fired twice at point-blank range, both blasts hitting Derek's chest, and Derek collapsed dead. Leanne ran deeper into the building, screaming warnings, while Jeff fired shots down the hallways behind her. 15-year-old Thurleen Stillday burst from a classroom and ran ahead of Leanne toward the exit. But Jeff shot down the hallway and hit Thurleen from behind, and she fell bleeding on the floor. Leanne glanced at Thurleen, bleeding but kept running, pushing the students behind her forward toward the exits.
That's good, man.
In another hallway, 62-year-old teacher Neva Rogers saw students running from gunfire and pounded on the nearest classroom door. Teacher Missy Dodd opened it and pulled Neva inside the study hall, where 15 students were hiding. At 2:51 p.m., Jeff reached the study hall door, shot through the glass panel, reached his arm through the broken glass, unlocked the door from inside, and pushed it open. Neva Rogers stood and began praying aloud, and Jeff walked to her and shot her multiple times in the head. 15-year-old Jeffrey May, the 300-pound freshman, charged...
Hold up, bro. Hold up. No, bro. I'm trying to... Okay. Hold on, y'all. Like, I got so much stuff on my freaking desk, bro. Golly. But in the head? Multiple times in the head? No. Elementary school. Hold up. School shooting. Damn, bro. This is real. 10 kill and lake shooting spree. Wow, bro. Hold up. Who was the school shooter in Red Lake? Jeffrey Riss. Hold up, let's see what he looked like. Oh, him. But something like what gives y'all like the mindset to even do this, bro? Like something is really wrong, like wrong.
Across the room and grabbed Jeff and tried stabbing him with a pencil, the only weapon he had. Jeff shot Jeffrey twice in the neck and once in the jaw, paralyzing the left side of his body, but the attack gave other students time to escape the study hall. At 2:54 p.m., police responding to students' 911 calls entered through the damaged entrance and spotted Jeff in the main hallway. Officers opened fire, hitting Jeff 3 times in the back, leg, and arm, and Jeff staggered back down the hallway toward the study hall. At 2:58 p.m., Jeff shot 2 more students hiding inside.
He's still alive?
Then put the shotgun under his chin and killed himself. The attack lasted 9 minutes and killed 9 people. But the students Leanne evacuated after Derek confronted Jeff survived. The Red Lake community honors Derek Brunn and Neva Rogers every March 21st with an annual Remembrance Day walk and program. Umpqua Community College. On October 1st, 2015, at Umpqua Community College in Roseburg, Oregon, 26-year-old Chris Harper Mercer walked into Snyder Hall carrying a backpack with 2 handguns. He had been off psychiatric medications for years and spent months online studying mass shooters before targeting Classroom 15, his own class. Outside the classroom, Harper Mercer pulled the guns from his backpack, and 43-year-old nursing student Serena Moore saw him through the window and wheeled to the door, trying to lock it. Harper Mercer pushed the door open, raised a handgun, and shot Serena multiple times in the abdomen, and she slumped forward, bleeding. He stepped over her wheelchair, entered the classroom where 18 students and 67-year-old Professor Lawrence Levine sat, and fired into the ceiling. He ordered them to the floor, and students scrambled from desks, crawling to the center while Professor Levine stood. Harper Mercer walked to Levine, raised the gun to his face, and fired at point-blank range, and Levine collapsed dead. In the fitness classroom next door, connected by an interior door, 30-year-old Army veteran Chris Mintz heard the ceiling shot, then screams, then gunfire. Mintz ran to the connecting door, planted his body against it, and spread his arms across the frame, blocking the entrance. His classmates grabbed their belongings and ran out the rear exit while Mintz held his position. Inside Classroom 15, Harper Mercer walked among students on the floor, asking if they were Christian, and when they answered yes, he shot them in the head.
What? Yeah, buddy's definitely going to hell. Sorry, guy, but bruh, you shot him because they are Christian, bro?
Mintz left the door and ran to the library down the hallway. He burst through the doors yelling for everyone to evacuate, and 20 students dropped their books and ran out. Mintz ran back toward Classroom 15 and found a wounded student in the hallway bleeding from his leg. He knelt beside the student and whispered to stay down and quiet. Harper Mercer stepped out of Classroom 15 into the hallway and saw Mintz kneeling there.
He saw him, bro.
Mintz looked up and pleaded not to be shot, saying it was his son's 6th birthday. Harper Mercer fired 7 times, bullets striking both legs and shattering his femurs, and Mintz collapsed as blood pooled beneath him. Detectives...
I thought he was alive. Bro, oh my God, bro. Y'all, I thought when I see the pic, I thought he was like alive, bro. Sorry, Lord. Sorry, guy. I'm sorry, bro.
Joe Caney and Todd Spingath responded to students' 911
I thought bro
calls
was alive,
and arrived
bro.
at Snyder Hall 6 minutes after the shooting began. They entered the hallway and saw Harper Mercer, and when he raised his gun toward them, both detectives fired, hitting him in the torso. He staggered into Classroom 15 and fired sporadically at officers for 2 minutes while they held position outside, preventing him from leaving. The gunfire stopped, and when officers entered, they found Harper Mercer dead with a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. The attack killed 9 people: Professor Levine, Serena Moore, and 7 students. Chris Mintz survived with 7 gunshot wounds.
Oh, let's go, y'all. See, like, I knew he was alive. That's why I did it. But then he said like he was dead. But let's go.
And both femurs shattered. In March 2016, Chris Mintz received the Congressional Medal of Honor Society's Citizen Honors Award during a ceremony at Fort Myer, attended by Medal of Honor recipients. Northern Illinois University. On February 14, 2008,
how long is there, bro? God.
27-year-old Stephen Kazmierczak walked into Cole Hall at Northern Illinois University, carrying a guitar case containing 4 guns. Stephen, a former graduate student at the university who had stopped psychiatric medications months earlier, walked backstage, opened the case, and pulled out a 12-gauge shotgun and a 9mm Glock handgun. Inside the auditorium, 26-year-old instructor John Peterson stood at the front teaching oceanography to 120 students seated in tiered rows facing the stage. Stephen stepped through the stage door wearing a black shirt that read "Terrorist," raised the shotgun toward John, and fired. The shotgun blast hit John Peterson in the shoulder and chest from 40 feet away, spinning him backward, and he staggered to the nearest exit, but found it locked and collapsed against the door, bleeding.
I'm sorry, bro.
Stephen fired 5 more shotgun blasts into the tiered seats, buckshot spraying across rows of students, and 20-year-old sophomore Maria Christensen, sitting in the 4th row, was struck in the face, neck, and shoulder. Maria dropped to the floor between the seats and stayed there motionless, her eyes closed and her breath barely audible, while chaos erupted around her. After emptying the shotgun, Stephen paused to reload, and in that moment, dozens of students throughout the auditorium who had been hiding under desks scrambled up and sprinted toward the rear exits. He dropped the empty shotgun, pulled the 9mm Glock from his waistband, and began walking down the center aisle, firing at the students running ahead of him. Students fell dead as bullets hit them in the back, some collapsing just feet from the exit doors they had almost reached. Stephen continued down the aisle, stepping over bodies, and walked past Maria lying motionless between the seats without stopping. After walking the length of the auditorium for nearly 90 seconds, he returned to the center of the stage, raised the Glock to his right temple, and pulled the trigger. Police arrived within 2 minutes of the first shots, entered the auditorium, and found Stephen Kazmierczak dead on the stage with the Glock beside his body. 5 students later...
Like, hold on. Like, why do they just commit S-word to themselves? Why does school shooters commit, and I hope you two don't take this down, okay, hold on. So school shooters often commit suicide on YouTube. Please don't take my video down due to a combination of mental instability, social isolation, and a self-preservation. Bro, I cannot read, bro. Hold up. Alright, he said nearly all school shooters have these in common, whether or not they commit S-word, mental instability, social isolation, a self-perception of claustrophobic laws and access to weapons, self-loathing, and perceived injustice. He said, I would just like to add that Cho and copying the Eric. It is becoming almost a norm for school shooters to kill themselves after a mass shooting. They were suicidal to begin with. Yeah, but something wrong with them.
Lay dead in the aisles and among the tiered seats, and 17 others were wounded, including John Peterson collapsed by the locked exit, and Maria Christensen motionless between the seats. Both John Peterson and Maria Christensen were rushed to hospitals where they survived after surgery.
Let's go, man.
Marysville Pilchuck High School. On October 24th, 2014, at Marysville Pilchuck High School in Washington, 15-year-old Jalen Freiberg walked into the cafeteria during lunch period, carrying a .40 caliber Beretta concealed in his waistband. In the weeks before, He had struggled with depression after his ex-girlfriend Zoe
Yep, that's it.
Galasso started dating his cousin Andrew
That's
Freiberg.
it.
And that morning he texted them and 5 other friends, asking them to join him at lunch. When Zoe, Andrew, and the others sat down at a table together, Jalen walked over, pulled the gun, and shot Zoe in the head.
Dang.
Then 14-year-old Gia Soriano, then 14-year-old Shaylee Chucklenaskit, then Andrew, then his cousin Nate Hatch in the jaw. Zoe collapsed forward onto the table dead, blood pooling beneath her, while the other 4 slumped bleeding in their seats as students across the cafeteria ran toward exits leading to the athletic fields and gymnasium. Jalen stood at the table with trembling hands, fumbling to reload the gun, when first-year teacher Megan Silberberger heard the gunfire from her office adjacent to the cafeteria. Megan ran through the door into the room, saw Jalen at the table holding the gun, and ran directly toward him, reaching for his gun hand. Jalen raised the gun to his own head and fired before she could touch him, collapsing to the floor dead. Megan knelt beside the wounded students and called 911. A school resource officer arrived in the cafeteria 2 minutes after the first shots and found Jalen and Zoe dead with 4 students wounded and bleeding from head and jaw injuries. Paramedics transported Gia, Shaylee, Andrew, and Nate to hospitals in critical condition, where Gia died from her head wound 2 days later, Shaylee a week later, and Andrew 2 weeks later. Nate survived with a shattered jaw that required reconstructive surgery.
Let's go, bro.
The Marysville Police Department awarded teacher Megan Silberberger the Chief's Meritorious Service Award for her courage in running directly toward the gunman. Marysville-Pilchuck High School also established an annual memorial walk to honor the victims of the 2014 shooting and remember Megan's heroism in preventing further loss of life.
Man, bro, that's crazy, chat. Just let me know what's up in the comments below. Yeah, man. Rest in peace to those that died, bro.